And we're live. Hello, everyone. My name is W.V.Carleton, and you have come to the right place for a general reading this Easter 2022. Lots of good stuff happening, so let's just dive in right here. I've already pulled the cards for the day. You're seeing a photo, so we can do some neat little zooming in and check things out as we move along. But first and foremost, what's overseeing this reading today is Neptune, the number 7. And this does not represent a major arcana. It is a Mind of Humanity card. What does that mean? Well, there are 7 general classic planets that we think of when we're looking at the planets in a form of spirituality and antiquity. There is the sun and moon, which technically shouldn't count as planets, but they used to. So anyway, we have sun, moon, and getting to number 7, we have Neptune here representing the deep spiritual. So this is going to be overseeing our reading today, and looking at things from a spiritual perspective also brings in, with the number 7, some ties to Jupiter, which have to do with abundance and material things. Also, food could be an issue or part of the subject matter. Okay, coming right in off the bat, if you look up here on the top right, you'll see Judgment came in on the bottom of the deck. And the way that I work with these readings is I talk about the bottom of the deck representing the portal, which leads to the beginning of this journey that we're going to take today. And this journey is designed to serve the highest good of you and all involved. So let's dive in. Judgment here in this case is some form of spiritual revelation. You've come into understanding yourself in a much different way. So what this means now is you're going to have this difference in perspective, and there may be some challenges that come from that as a result. But you're getting through it, and you're doing this with faith that you love yourself. You're also supervised here with Neptune, so keep in mind that you have that profound depth that you can dive in at this moment in time. And to do that, because you're safe. You see these folks that are moving on these very calm waters, on this little skiff. Things are in motion, moving in the right direction, and the waters are calm, much calmer than they used to be. This is part of the revelation that you've had, that you can create and generate this sense of peace within, and then it starts to project itself outward. If you could imagine, you get to choose the reels of the movie that you want to watch, and as you put the reel on, the entire perspective outside changes. And so you can see things from 2 different views from this vantage point of being the projectionist in the projectioner's booth. You can see the movie for what it is, or you can observe its mechanical motions. You can start to detach yourself from it. And you can also edit some of the pieces that you may not want to entertain anymore. You've seen them enough times. You've experienced them more than enough. You wish to experience something new. And so you can start to edit your own life in this way through the entertainment of thoughts that are there to serve you and to connect you with the bliss and the wish fulfillment that you wish to have if you don't have it already. So you're moving into calmer waters. What does this offer you? Well, it offers you, through the 6 of Swords, a connection with intellect that is something that has to do with love, self-love. This idea of caring for yourself is coming through deeply and profoundly at the beginning of this. It's part of the revelations. Caring for yourself is immediately present in your environment in a form of peace. And the way to do this is, here's what I would use as a prompter. And I've been doing this recently, and it's been working wonders. I used to be very focused on the affirmation, I am, which is extremely powerful. And I say this that in such a form or such a way that I want to see myself in an even better place before I start entertaining I am on a regular basis, at least as much as I used to. And there's a reason for it. Because if I'm not perfectly aligned with the reality that I wish to be living, and I'm saying this for everyone too, if you see yourself in a position where you may not be exactly where you need to be, where you can say to yourself, okay, this is the exact image of where I want to be, as far as where you're living, who you're with, what your job is like, what your purpose is, all of those things that are most profoundly important to you, being a parent, whatever it may be, if you're not optimally there in the scenario that you imagine in your mind, I would say avoid I am altogether. Avoid the affirmation I am that I am, because you're not the perfect parent yet. or you don't have the perfect physique, or whatever it is, you're not going to tell yourself those things. You're simply going to recognize when it's there in your mind with the simple word: perfect health, fitness, good life, abundance, wealth, success, amorous love, divine union, peace, prosperity, opulence. These types of words, without using any form of action, are clearly transmitted to the subconscious. Just by suggestion, you're doing more work for yourself that's going to benefit you, more beneficial work, by removing I am from the equation until it is manifest in front of you. So until that moment comes where you see yourself perfectly in the mirror, it's not necessary to say, I am, because the universe is going to say, hold on a second, I don't have to do any more work on this? Are you sure? And you're going to say, well, I was just joking before. I want you to keep working on this. Well, okay, you're sending confusing messages. And the only thing the subconscious wants is to have clear communication with you. The only thing is, I talk about and this is good, I talk about the subconscious mind as a receiving feminine element or energy, like Pingala. And I think of Ida, or the masculine, as our external conscious world. And so it's important for you to consider this and try to grasp it entirely, because it has to do entirely with the energy of the Tarot, where it's not so much about men and women or gender. It has to do with the energies that are embedded in the subtle body through various elements. And so when we're talking about the swords here, like the Six of Swords, we're actually talking about intellect. And when we're talking about wands, like here in the Ten of Wands, we're talking about direct manifestation, that which we are actually managing and is tangible through the seed. And what I mean by that is, when you have the action of wands, like when you start a fire, it could be just a spark in the beginning, but then it can become this huge, overwhelming bonfire. And so wands have to do with this activation of fire, the active, and air fuels it. So these two elements are also phalli. So they function as a masculine active element. Now, when we get over here to the Three of Cups, this is a feminine receiving element. So it has to do with birth, usually love, emotions, things like that. And when we get to Pentacles, we're also dealing with the divine feminine. We're working with the divine feminine. We're never dealing with it. The negotiation is already done if you see it in front of you. This is the result of hard work. And so the pentacle, or the coin, represents the feminine aspect as well. This is earth. So it's not necessarily money all the time. We're not just talking about money when we're talking about the coins or the pentacles. We're talking about things that are directly connected to the physical world. And so as you see the numbers go higher, we get to the Nine of Pentacles. The world is pretty well developed from a material standpoint. And so you can expect that right now, since this is part of the reading. Over here, whatever has to do with wish fulfillment, we have this message, or the seed, being sent very quickly. So once again, we return to the wands. We're talking about this fire energy, and it's being sent off very fast. It's hard to see, but it's definitely happening. There are 8 wands here on the canvas being sent out at a blisteringly fast speed. The only other card that's faster than the 8 of wands is the Chariot, which is a major arcana number 7. We got 7 here, and we got 3 sevens right in the center of the reading. So that's a basic explanation. So when I'm talking about things like having a good relationship with the divine feminine, for me, is imagining I am with the most beautiful woman in the world, my subconscious mind, and I am working with her to make sure she's appreciated and that she understands I'm being truthful. So I'm avoiding I am. And the way I can show truth is through my actions when I'm good with others and good to others and good to myself and good with my selected thoughts. And when I say selected thoughts, you're not making up thoughts. Thoughts are constantly pummeling you. It's like you're not making up the radio waves. The radio waves are constantly pummeling you. You have to filter out and tune in the station that you wish to listen to. And once you tune in that station, it's become manifest. Now you can listen to it. Now you can experience it. Now you can feel it. And if you make that feeling stronger than any other feeling in the general vicinity or moment, then that's what the universe is going to manifest more of. So that's the order. It's like whatever makes it to the finish line as the strongest felt emotion is the thing that survives and gets planted as a seed. And the subconscious, which is the divine feminine, brings it forth through the material. And that's represented here in form of pentacles. This is wish fulfillment and abundance, in addition to being in a leadership role. So that's how it works. You are technically the boyfriend and the girlfriend, the masculine and the feminine. You're bringing together these two elements. And so the other element of this is what you see. So when you look at these cards, you see something, right? It's manifest in front of you. Even if it's in digital form, it's manifest to where it evokes an emotion or a feeling. And so you're seeing movement through a particular journey for you. And it could be totally different for you than anyone else in the world. And that's most likely going to be the case because you've had millions and millions of thoughts that you've chosen to entertain if you've lived for a few decades, such as myself. And those all formulate into something that you see right before you. And how interesting that we see the same thing. It's because we are co-creating. We're figuring out a way to show this image to one another so that it makes sense and we can concur with it. We would rather agree than not. That's the idea. The subconscious mind would rather agree with you than not. And if you're sending mixed messages and you're saying, hey, listen, I don't like how these cards look, well, the divine feminine is saying, well, what the hell's your problem? This is the order that you put out there when you said that you were going to be X, Y, and Z. What, you were just joking? Well, that's not something that I'm particularly interested in. This is the conversation the subconscious mind has with you. She is not interested in how you feel. She's interested in how you feel about the biggest feeling that you're able to put out there, but she's not interested in what you think. She's totally interested in how you feel, only to make sure that that's the order she needs to be fulfilling. She's not so much concerned about consoling you. It's about figuring out what the damn order needs to be at the wish fulfillment center. And it's whatever feeling you've had that's strongest. So it could be that someone gives you a phone call that you've been dreading. Someone sends you an email that you've been dreading. Whatever it is that you've been dreading and fearing, if that gives you the biggest emotion in your gut, then that's going to be the thing that the subconscious mind, the divine feminine, the universal source of creation is going to deliver in droves to you. So it's your choice. And so that's why I say don't complicate things with I am. It's like, I'm trying my best. There's an I am, okay, trying my best. Well, that doesn't really amount to anything in accordance to what you currently have if you don't have enough. If you're feeling you don't have enough, if there's a feeling of lack, you shouldn't be saying I'm trying. You're just doing it. You're not even saying anything. You're just doing it, and you're saying in your mind success. And you're doing it. It's much better than I'm trying. It's certainly better than I can't. You don't ever want to be there. Do not say you cannot, because that means that you are not able. And you're saying I am not able. That's not good. It's not even good for me to say it on the air. So I'm going to say success, wealth, goodness, prosperity, happiness, peace of mind, divine union, blissful love, self-love, appreciation, empathy, kindness. These are the things that you can be thinking. And so if something presents itself as a bad feeling or gives a prompter to incite your heart rate to go up, and you feel the sharpness in your gut and all of those indicators, the prompters, it's because you felt this in the past when it was really bad. It was something bad, and it stayed with you. And so now you have the opportunity this time around to really be cognizant of that and to offer yourself love in the form of these very comforting words that describe very clearly and honestly with the subconscious mind what you imagine yourself being in this moment right now. And so that's why I say it's great to get out there and dream, to make your own dream board. And I have a dream board that's constantly on display in my mind, and I have a few key places that I go to when I'm thinking about success, and when I'm thinking about wealth, and when I'm thinking about family unity, when I'm thinking about prosperity, happiness, opulence, traveling, just wish-fulfilled life. When I'm thinking about those things, I know there are a few places that I like to visit a lot, and I tend to add more details to them, and it leads me in more directions of where it just expands. So every time I make this the biggest feeling of the day or the most important feeling of the day, then the subconscious mind is listening and planning on bringing it forth. That's the plan. And so even if I have these big towers that are built up over years or decades even of sending out doubts, now I can start to deconstruct them and repurpose this material to formulate itself into something that would really benefit my life. And so this is the process of rebuilding your own life, rebuilding the Garden of Eden within you. And so it will start to show itself on the outside. Just try it. And the best time to do this is in the morning as you wake up. And of course, before you go to sleep at night, it's like you're sending a letter to yourself in the morning when you go to sleep at night. So just before you fall asleep, send the most beautiful message to the subconscious. And so if you want the subconscious to be the most caring, providing man, let's say, you're a heterosexual woman and you're thinking to yourself, I just want this perfect man to take care of me or to be my equal in all these areas that I love, these places, these things of interest, these places I want to go to. I want this in a man. So you can think in your subconscious as this is the man that's going to bring this forth. And you can imagine this perfect man being there in your subconscious mind, just ready to receive all of these desires that you wish to send out. And so you can use the power of the divine masculine as a woman in this example and send out these wishes. You see, your current environment may not be perfect. So you're not going to say, I am perfect. You're not going to say, I'm perfect health. You're just going to say perfect health. And you're going to say, ideal scenario, perfection, success, love, being cared for. If that's what you want, there are moments in time when I definitely feel like I would like to be cared for. And it's, if you think about, I am cared for, and then you reduce that to being cared for, and you go out there and you start trying to love people, not trying, but doing. See, I have to help myself with this. It's a new process. So I'm being very critical of myself for the sake of good, solid example of how I work on it. It's a general reduction of complexities to get to a point where the message becomes very clear. So if the subconscious in your mind is a man, and you wish for him to accomplish certain things in your life, then certainly imagine that happening. So if you'd like to see him build an empire, imagine what it would look like for him to build that empire. If he doesn't exist in your life, then imagine what he would look like existing in your life. You see how this goes? You can dream about all the features that you wish him to have. If it's physical, that brings you happiness. Who am I to judge? Who is anyone to judge? It could be that you just want to have a very physical life with the most beautiful physical specimen of a male in your life that is powerful and rich and commanding and maybe demanding even. You can decide whoever you want him to be. It's your order. So don't feel like it's anyone else's order to interfere with. If you've been interfered with too much in your life, that's the thing to work on now. You're going to start saying to yourself, free, freedom, freedom, liberation, access, justice, goodness, equity. These are the words that you can start to say to yourself. And as they're saying these things, imagine those scenarios and try to imagine them so that it benefits everyone. And this is a very, very important thing. You want to remove envy from the equation. The reason being is any individual that you're interacting with or even thinking about that generates a feeling or an emotion, if you're doing this from a standpoint of envy, and that feeling is more important than this feeling you're trying to generate of goodness and imagining this person being in your life, then the person in your life gets put on delay and doesn't make his way to you. It's that simple. Because you've decided to make another feeling more important than the feeling that you have imagining being with this perfect person, or imagining yourself being the perfect person. If you're thinking about there being barriers in the way or these things that have always caused issues in the past, if you're letting that be the gut feeling more than anything else that's positive, then you shouldn't be surprised if they're manifesting these barriers. So it's important to catch yourself in this moment. And I can say this for sure. You're at a great advantage just by hearing this. And if it makes sense to you, you're at a great advantage because you're going to start to pay attention to your own behavior and your own reactions, the developed prompters from the past that are trying to get you back to what's normal. Because here's the thing. You could be in a comfort zone. You could call it normal. That doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. Right? You could be in a comfort zone. You and a million other people could call it normal. That doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy for you and for others. You have to decide based on how you feel in your gut. And so if that feeling is really sour and it's overwhelming all this hard work that you're doing, then it's best to do it in the morning. I can tell you, it's best to start your meditation in the morning because that's when you will plant your seeds when there's no resistance and nothing competing. You wake up in the morning, it's like getting a restart of the computer. You haven't used up all of the random access memory yet. And so you're filling this in with your intentions and with affirmations without any competition. You've got a clean slate first thing in the morning. And then if you're going to bed at night, you certainly don't want to let some negative thought or feeling carry its way into your sleep, into your dream state, because once you enter dream state, it's just the same as doing any form of meditation. You're going to have direct access to your subconscious. So you'll be planting messages directly with the subconscious mind in those moments. And you want to make sure that there is a clear, definitive message being sent and not a confusing one. Because a lot of work will be getting done in this third of life that you spend asleep, working directly with the subconscious mind, where the unconscious mind is shut off and the conscious mind is shut off. You're just in the deep. You're going into the deep blue, okay? It's like John Mayer sings Wild Blue, deeper than I ever knew. I'm walking through the wilderness, living off the loneliness. You can expect that loneliness to go away very soon here. Let's do the sequence. I've explained things I think well enough to understand how energies work, and how you're constantly placing orders out there to the Wish Fulfillment Center depending on what is the strongest feeling you have in this moment. So if you can make the strongest feeling being that of love and joy and bliss, you can expect that to start to manifest itself a lot more frequently in your life, and it's your choice. You're given the choice. It's part of your free will package for being human and being born on Earth. So enjoy it. It's an awesome, incredible game where the controller is your thought. The thoughts that you choose to entertain create movement in your life. So it's the controller. Everything has to do with your intimate relationship with your environment in the external and the mind, which is the divine feminine, in whatever form you wish to see. You may wish to have the guardian of your life, the guardian of your gates, be female. That's great. All of this is awesome. Like I said, it doesn't have to do with gender. It has to do with energies. And so typically you're going to have a masculine active energy that works in order to defend the gates. That's just how it works. You're either going to have wands. Do wizards defend themselves with swords? No, knights do that. They defend themselves with wands because wands produce immediate manifestations, immediately, through the trained mind. So it's a little combination of the two. However, fire doesn't just, sometimes it rolls, but when the spark occurs, it's immediate. The spark is undeniable, and also the initial combustion is undeniable, and it's immediate. And then it slowly consumes over time. But if you want an immediate manifestation, you start working with wands. Okay? So what do we got here? Safe passage, moving into this rest You can't really see it, but there's a hand here. And this hand actually is a right hand. It's not a left hand. So it's not coming from this person right here. That's what a lot of people overlook. It's coming from some force that's greater than you that's going to help you. And you're releasing a burden since it's a 10. The 10 is an end of a cycle. So you see 10 wands here. You've worked very hard. You're coming to the end. And there's a little hearth in the background here. You're about to go visit that and have a good time, likely with a love partner. And it's going to be awesome because it's right here next to the 3 of Cups. And you got supervising this reading, Neptune with number 7. There is some form of life partnership, twin flame. The real deal coming into your life right now. In addition to a collaborative effort, which is totally clear, and taking some time for yourself. The Knight of Wands is actually going to a celebration. I think he's coming over here to celebrate with you ladies. And he's about to say, hey, this is pretty awesome. We have wish fulfillment now and we're collaborating together and I am willing to follow the rules, whoever it is, willing to follow the rules to make sure that we keep having beautiful days like this because it's fun. It's fulfilled. It's fulfilling. Beautiful. So we see here definitely a romantic offer, some form of relationship building. It could be just the love of a specific type of creation that's happening in a group collaboration. It's all indicative here. If you follow the rules, this will happen fast. And you've had this revelation already. You've had the revelation. It's come through in some form of dream or accomplishment. You've seen it. And so now it's time for you to understand and accept that it's safe to go through calmer waters with your success, laying down the big burdens, having them taken over. You can focus on this beautiful love with a fulfilling partnership as it's overseen by the profundity of the sea, Neptune. You've got a knight coming in, not ready to fight. The wand is small. It's the smallest wand to say, I'm not going to be doing any manifestation or damage or anything like that. I'm wearing my garb for party, and I want to party. And of course, the opulence comes in here with the 9 of coins, 9 of pentacles, and this 8 of wands is just to say, all of this that we're seeing right here, if you want this to happen faster, all you got to do is follow the rules. It's not following the rules necessarily of an organization or the external. It's following the rules of the subconscious mind, which is she or he, whoever you want to call your subconscious, does not care so much about the details as much as the raw feelings themselves. And so if it's taking a tally of the rawest feelings of your day and you wake up feeling blissful right off the bat, saying to yourself, perfect health, wealth, success, abundance, happiness, fulfillment with love, a loving relationship with self and others, a life partner, a twin flame finally arriving. And you're going through the imagery in your mind of this with the characteristics of this person and the joy of your new purpose and working together in a collaborative effort and where you'd be living and where you'd be going and where you're not just going there, you're there. You're living this in the present moment, the moment that you wake up in the morning. So you send that beautiful feeling out and the universe says, yeah, okay, this has not been like you. This is a lot different. So I just want to make sure that this is the direction you want to move because I respect every single feeling that you send my way so much that I would never deny you it. So I just want to make sure that this is the direction you want to move with success. Oh, wait, you're saying it again? Even when this thing is that I used to bring into your life that used to generate a big feeling, you're actually not giving that old sour feeling, but you're replacing it with something that is success, love, happiness, and you're imagining these places with great faith. I know this is what you want. Your divine partner in life then knows exactly what you want and is completely prepared to bring it into your life. And now you understand how the game of life is played. It's taken me a very, very long time, but I know now that I've been able to reduce it into such a form where it's understandable by everyone, that it's definitely a game and you can put it to the test. I wouldn't test it for the sake of a negative, hard day. I personally would avoid that like the plague. But you can put it to the test in that way, though I would rather hear about your successes and having woken in the morning, given yourself this very simple affirmation and ability and gift to go to these places in your mind that make you most happy and to stay there as long as you want and to go back to it as long as you want, whenever you want. And to know that you're deserving of it 100%, no matter what anything says to you or anyone says to you. You are 100% deserving of complete happiness. And it's proof by showing that anything you've thought with enough conviction has come forth. Could be positive or negative, but now it's time to assess and decide, what is it that you really want? Because it's all here for you now. It's all here for you. So enjoy it. That's all I can say. Enjoy the process. Before you go to bed at night, most certainly if you've had an argument with someone, you want to squash that with love. It's the best way to squash something. You can just say, I love you very much, and if you need to shut off your phone or relocate yourself, do it with love and saying this is what you need. And if someone, tends to ask, what are you doing? You say, I'm focusing on something that makes me happy. And it's because it's something that I believe fully is coming forth. If you even need to say that at all, you can just go back to these words: wealth, perfect health, success, appreciation, safety, protection, illumination, great writing, great speaking, great composing, great playing, great running, great jumping, great parkour. Whatever it is, tell yourself what you're seeing. Incredible performance, yacht club, vacationing, traveling the world, purchasing a dream home. A dream home. Heaven on earth. Whatever it is. Could be material, could be the feeling of just joy, happiness, contentment, unity of family, longevity, well-being, peace. And these words can repeat in your mind. Just repeat them and go to those places that directly reflect and mirror what the word means to you in a positive light, so that you can start to reassure yourself you are more than worthy to receive. And just as you are observing these things, anytime you see this in the real world, it's because someone thought it enough to bring it forth, from the skyscrapers in the sky to the yachts on the ocean, to the biggest, most grandiose things that you could ever see, to the greatest kiss you've ever imagined and seen in your life, to the greatest artistic performance. All of this was thought of before it happened in some way. And the subconscious, universal subconscious mind brought it forth, made to order. So it's divine and it's a manifestation. So be reverent towards it. When you see someone who's successful, be reverent towards that. It's part of this judgment. Have a revelation with reverence. See the goodness in others. And when you're thinking about someone who's working hard, imagine them having the greatest success that you could imagine, maybe beyond that, because you're putting in an order for yourself. And that's a big secret that a lot of people don't know. Envy pumps the brakes, slams the brakes on whatever manifestation you're doing, no matter how hard you're working. It's a slow grind at best. So make sure when you see people that are in love, you have all the examples in the world of perfection on social media, and this is where you can use it to your advantage. Look at these images of perfection and think about this person that's experiencing it having even more of an awesome time. Just imagine them having an awesome time, truly enjoying it. And then imagine yourself enjoying it too. And how you're both enjoying it together, if that's what you will, or not. But imagine it as much as you can, and imagine people being joyful. Because the more you can imagine people in that same scenario, the more examples you're giving to the subconscious mind to manifest it for you without any confusion in the matter. It is, oh, I know what yacht means. It means everyone's partying, everyone has everything they need, crystal clear water, perfect weather, everyone is great, everything is amazing, abundance, opulence, celebration, helicopters, Michelin star restaurants, traveling. You know, it's all there as part of the package that is yacht. And so it's okay to imagine, it's better to imagine multiple people experiencing that, especially if they've voiced wanting to experience it, or if they're showing it on social media with big smiles on their faces. Imagine them having an even greater time doing something even more insanely awesome. And keep repeating that. And then say what that means to you, whether it's success, whether it's abundance, whether it's total freedom, whether it's financial freedom, whatever it is, keep saying it to yourself. Keep repeating it. And by repeating this, you're giving a direct order that's easy to understand. It's not a direct order. Actually, the subconscious mind does not like orders. But what I mean by this is you're placing a seed of great potentiality in the Garden of Eden that is your soon-to-come life. Just imagine it being there. You've planted the seed in the earth. You know what this is going to become. You've seen the examples. And the more examples you see, the more excited you get. Because every time you see a little bit of growth, you know you're moving in the right direction. And you eventually will get there. You have to. It's law. And so it's great to know this. Your faith abides by a particular law that will give you the end result in the garden that you manage. And so take advantage of it and be grateful. Be reverent towards those who've succeeded. And certainly don't despise them. Don't be envious. Be grateful that it's on display. This is a manifestation that's part of your own creation. That's what you need to see. That when you see Elon Musk being the richest man in the world, he's been through struggles. He's gone up and down. And now he is in a position where he's able to help a lot of people. And he's an innovator. And he can't stop innovating. He is a result of our collective consciousness, imagining things coming to light. And so he just keeps imagining things getting bigger and better and more incredible and more mind-blowing with everything that he touches. And so he's guided by this divine force. And now that he has an ability to serve billions of people, it's reflected in the amount of money he has. It's simply an indication of how many people he's serving, no matter what anyone says. It's how it works. Money is directly related to the service you provide. And so if you increase your area of influence and you're serving more people in that light, then compensation increases. And the moment you take a break, compensation will drop. And it's just part of the game, unless you have something that's working in a form of passive income, which is great too. So if that's what you want, just keep saying it to yourself. Increased passive income. It's a good one. Passive income. Increased passive income to the point of financial freedom. Notice how I'm not using I am, unless I'm giving the example. You don't have to. So all of this is to say you should be reverent towards his accomplishments, because there was a point in time when Elon Musk was borrowing money to pay rent, and there was a point where he was about to go completely bankrupt with a few of his ventures, and he did with a few of them, but some of them that he had absolute faith with, at the very last moment, a Hail Mary is thrown out there and it's answered. And that's beautiful. It's just a testament to the power of faith. And usually the payoff in those moments is huge. So it's good to not lust for these results as much as enjoy the process that you can go there right now. Wherever you want that scenario to be, you can go there right now. Most certainly Elon Musk is imagining being on Mars. It's the only way that this is working. The more he imagines it, the faster it will happen. And so It's a beautiful thing. You know, he broke into the car industry. I mean, that's like somebody who wants to has a suicide mission, basically, for any business to try to break into the car industry. Are you kidding me? And he did it. You know, it's like he wants to take the challenge on. So, okay, great. That's his gig. And so you want to be able to do something in that way with that form of intensity in some discipline and call that your purpose, because it is. So find out what it is and pursue it. For me, it's writing and composing music and now illustrating and the tarot. It's the mystic, great mysteries of life. I can't get enough of them. I can't get enough with consuming the world that is the spiritual as much as I can, embedding myself in it, however I can be accepted. So I hope this reading has served you, and follow your gut. Make sure that your feelings are good so that you live a good life. I want that for you. You should want it for everybody else. You shouldn't wish for someone to have a life of suffering. It's really bad because it's going to come back to deliver itself upon you. So think about the good. It's all here for you now. You've got your safety. You've got the love relationships. You got some good time for celebration, and just follow the rule, which is to be truthful and send a true message to the divine unconscious, the divine subconscious, which is the source of all creation. Send clear messages with clear words, backed by feelings that you can hold on to for a good solid amount of time, early in the morning before you have momentum with anything else that distracts you. And keep reminding yourself of those things whenever a prompter shows up that reminds you of the past. You know it's the past because it's over. And so you can never feel it worse than the way it was when it first happened unless you keep bringing it up. By doing that, you're going to put the brakes on your manifestation in life. So make sure to let it go. This is a good time to do it while the moon is full and it's waning. It's getting smaller. You have a good time, a good opportunity to kind of throw what doesn't serve you into that black hole until it's completely closed and starts over, expanding with light to bring forth that which serves you. So just toss everything into the black hole that you don't need anymore. And call it a day and hold on to the things that are most important to you. Don't let those go. When the time comes for the new moon, you start to really focus on those things, and you're going to see there's a lot less resistance coming in the way to the manifestation of your dreams. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching and for being here with me today. I hope this served you. And we've been going now for 43 minutes, and I promised I would do some reading. I almost was about to sign off because I was so excited with the reading. Though I have some pages here. I've got 12 pages from today, and you'll also see 2 more tarot cards coming in. So there's a lot of material coming to you. If you go to immortaltype.com, it will lead to my Medium link. It's on the first article that's there, so you can find my Medium page through that. Or else you can go to immortaltype.medium.com. I always get those confused. So you can just go to immortaltype.com, type that in, or type in the name William Vincent Carleton, and you'll see where all my social media is. And you want to go to Medium because that's where you'll find this live broadcast being embedded after it's done broadcasting. And you'll also find these pages I'm about to read to you from today. And what else will you find? You'll also find this embedded YouTube video and all the illustrations from today that I did. So you'll see a lot of cool stuff coming through. And I suggest that you follow, like, and subscribe. And if you find that you'd like to enjoy more than 2 free articles per month at Medium, to join through my membership referral link, which is of no extra cost to you. And if you sign up through Medium through my referral link, I get a commission. And every bit helps, so it's nice. So what I'll do is in this description, I'll remember to put in the membership link. So if you decide that you want to sign up, which is $5 a month, and it gives you access to every single article on Medium for every writer without restriction. It's amazing. For $5 a month or $50 a year, so you can save some money. You save $10, if I did that math right. I think so. Yeah, I did it right. So you save $10 that way. If you do the annual subscription, you pay once a year $50. And anytime that you read a writer's work, you're paying that writer. Anytime you comment, you're helping to boost the SEO so that those articles can be found by publications or people of importance that will help these writers along to get to that next step. This is what we're talking about here, a collaborative effort. So every time that you're clicking like, every time you subscribe, every time you help in these ways, you are in fact boosting a writer's chances to reach and attain success, which also returns to you in that form. And so if you can imagine your effort leading to something much greater for the individual you're supporting, then that is the best affirmation you can make for yourself to bring whatever abundance, joy, peace, prosperity, success, wealth into your own life. It's the best way. And it's often what we tend to avoid, like the plague. We do the opposite. And so look at your bank account, look at your happiness, look at the love and fulfillment, look at the comments coming through. If in your social media, take a look at these things. Put this to the test. Like and subscribe. Go out of your way, imagining anyone you're supporting reaching a pinnacle of success and going beyond. Do this for everyone. You'll start to see yourself feeling much better without envy, without any sort of need to compete, and your creative output will be unbelievably impacting on your audience, if that's what you choose. If you're a creative, most of you are. Whatever you're doing with your career and your joy in life, your purpose in life, you'll find it being enhanced the more that you imagine this goodness with others. And of course, if they're successful doing something that you don't believe in, that you don't think is right, that could be in some form exploitative, then once again, it's going back to the scenarios in your mind that you imagine being equivalent to your idea of success, happiness, love. Because it's most important that you have connection with your own scenario, not these images that give you a bad feeling or these scenarios that give you a bad feeling, because that's just the past and it's illusion. It's not meant to belong with you anymore. It's meant to have been felt. You felt it. Now it's time to feel good. And so this is how I gauge it. Anytime that I'm engaged in reading or supporting like an online streamer or listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or if I'm looking at a tarot reading, right off the bat, I'm clicking like, and if I haven't subscribed already, I do. And I'm imagining this individual that's giving the offering having complete success with their efforts because it's deserved. And when it's achieved, go back and tell them how well they did. You're going to want to do this for yourself. It's a selfish thing, but you want to tell everyone that they did a good job and congratulate them for the sake of the lessons that I've explained to you today, which should be easy enough to follow now. Don't be afraid if you've done the opposite for years and years. The power of a loving intention is 108 times stronger, or arguably 100 times stronger, at least in a spiritual way, than a negative thought or a thought that would bind someone or a cursed thought. The power of love is at least an order of magnitude, if not two, stronger than a negative feeling and thought. It tends to override everything when you're thinking loving thoughts and good thoughts. So don't be hard on yourself if you find yourself at some point saying, oh my God, I just went on this train of thought for an hour. I wasn't even aware. And now I'm back, and is it even worth it that I continue thinking positive things if I've just done all the negative stuff? Have I undone everything? You haven't undone everything in your day. Don't worry. Just keep going. It's at least you have awareness now that this is what's been happening. And now you know how to identify the prompters. You know how to identify what has been going on and how to replace it with simple words and feelings that are pure and set in a foundation of love. Okay, let's go into the pages from today. And so I'm going to read, and you just keep looking at the tarot cards. And I hope you enjoy this. This is chapter 10, entitled Captain's Wheel. And this is page 11 from the most recent book, The Word is Truth. And my name is William Vincent Carleton, the writer of this. These are typewritten pages that I wrote today. And they were one take, no page repeats, no edits. So I'm reading this for the first time, raw, live. And that's my disclaimer. Chapter 10, Captain's Wheel. There are a number of reasons to own a yacht, several more to own a cruise ship, and several more to work a fleet. I mean to own one, paid in full, stocked to the brim with the coldest walk-in fridges, and filled with all the delights you never thought you would see again. They all get made here on Hex City. We've got the constructs and the aug prisons and the deep fake rituals that keep you curiously wanting more. And we have been broadcasting it 24/7 so that you never miss a thing. And I am your captain. Understanding that, I am prepared to go down with my ship, so you better enjoy yourself while you're here. Thank you very much. I also wish to say that user privilege is high in this profession of owning yachts, as I can gain access to pretty much any place under the sun because I own one. As in, I own all the places I frequent, and this earns me the best treatment. Part of the dues owed to one who is prepared to go down with his ship, and make no mistake that my ship is female. She keeps us afloat as much as she is a container. For now she is carrying at least 50 years' worth of canned goods, MREs, and life-sustaining equipment, including radiation scrubbers, and so we're good and prepared for a long-term voyage at sea. But the biggest reason is the type of woman this lifestyle attracts. Chapter 11, Woman. There's nothing quite like the feeling of being dominated by a woman. Now, don't misinterpret me here. I'm not talking about being held down against my will based on sheer strength alone. No. That is a brute of a woman. Not what I'm referring to here. What I'm referring to here is the concept of a woman who is beautiful and kind and giving and receptive and inquisitive and endlessly curious about the world. And her odd dance, that she has little to no time to deal with the workings of man, but all the same she partakes for the sake of finding the perfect man. For her, the perfect man is the one she can torture for the rest of her life, while making him, the husband, feel like he's being treated well, and far from bad. He could see her bad side if he keeps pushing the issue kind of woman. If you've never been dominated by one, that is good news, as you're either barely alive, or a yacht owner, or dead. This type of deadliest catch is brought into your life for the sake of inflicting pain and pain only, and this is in the form of hazing, which is really flagellation, if you ask me. I believe that every character in this game is at least in part my own doing, and so if I am set to set a bar for excellence in dealing with narcissistic succubi, then I wish to make it high, as the benefit from mere survival is this: endless droves of beautiful women who are smart enough to know they are on a ship instead of dying on land, and this may be a permanent cruise. Chapter 12, The Garden of Secrets. Katarinka here. It's been a while. I wish to show you a bit more of Hex City, in case my husband has not convinced you of its novelty during these strange economic times. Quite tumultuous, I know, and that is why, unlike my husband, who is a straight-laced go-getter, I tend to focus more on the luxuries of life, and with that comes pleasure. Do you like pleasure? Do you like to feel good? Who doesn't, right? I know. What I need right now is an IPA. Did you know these are full flavored by only 4 basic ingredients? That's right. Totally vegan and won't put any fat on you, no matter how much you have. You can dial in your drunkenness any way you like here, as it is totally under your control. In this construct, where we are right now, where my husband is overseeing things as captain, is bound to change the moment you sign this here and give us the right to link and handshake with your mind. We connect it with the Centra AI right here, and before you know it, your body is undergoing diagnostics, and we are giving you that boob lift you always wanted. And we make your husband or boyfriend's cock the size you want it. And he can always come back to make adjustments in length and girth. And this is how it feels. Right here. You feel that? Such a sensation exists where nowhere else on any of your competing platforms. They want your attention, I get it. But feel this. Paramount is offering you cheaper prices, and none of them offer haptics like this. Nothing feels like this. It's yours now. Chapter 13, The Death Box. In the event that you do not fully enjoy your stay on your yacht in Hex City, there's always the alternative option, which is a direct transfer to Capital Mall 1, Titan. Here you will be placed in charge of serving Martesian men, who may have you any which way they like, and if they prefer you, they shall fight for you. And that is a decent way to live, as you'll become Delphi. Delphi own most of the major cities on land, and that's fine with us, as we have our own designated areas on the map, which also include the oceans and seas. We are free and clear to set up modules as we see fit on the ocean. And see how we do this? We chain together the cruise liners on the outside of the hexagon like this, and the inner yachts are converted into solar-powered greenhouses. And the island in the middle that we've built up from recycled plastic is our water filtration system, which also separates vital nutrients from the seawater we purify, which serves the plants in the greenhouses. And so you can see, with the fabrication elements put in place thanks to 3D printers, we have all we need to live perfect lives here, amongst the worst nuclear fallout the planet has ever seen. Life is good here. You don't have to fuck men all the time, as it's 90 women to every 6 men, give or take, per module. These men keep the pecuary happy with their spilling of vital essence, and the system is stable, and the people inside are partying like you wouldn't believe. And then Olden tried to save the world. Chapter 14, Patience. I, for one, know I must exercise more of it. Sometimes it is apparent I do not have enough. It is then that I am prompted to fix the dialogue in my mind, out of respect for the woman of my dreams, who I love fully, more than ever. This is alchemy, you see, when the divine feminine meets the masculine, and they are sent into a spiral of lovemaking and only come up for air once in a while, as it is complete sacrifice all the time for the sake of service to one another. And there would be a word for this union if you were to be with us in Hex City right now, and that is kimochi. It's quite possible you may wish to experience life as a man, I understand. And that is why at Kimochi Land we practice the art of kimochi, aptly called kimochilo. Here, under the auspices of Ancient Mother, and through the miracle that is the Avatarist knife, we can go in and arrange your molecules in such a way that they return in a whole new mold. You still keep all of the elements of your psyche that you wish to preserve, And so if there is psychological trauma from the past, just mention the first 3 seconds of the experience, and our expert scrubbers will find that horrible set of frames and scrub them so clean it will feel as if the events never took place. No more scar tissue. All gone. Chapter 15. Paying Dues. There was a time when I was strongly disliked. This is going to date me, but back in 2022, like more than 50 years ago, I was the most hated entity on Terra. I came through with this very technology that everyone embraces fully now, including the typewriters, and folks were not having it. They saw what could be done with the avatars and how you could not only change your sex, but you could fully transition. And this got a lot of people from the trans community at the time very upset, as they could remove all the pain and finally be at peace. So the trans community started to disappear, and more transitioned folks went under the avatar's knife. This made a lot of enemies at first. But eventually the technology was applauded. It was a new way of staying alive forever without having to achieve self-realization. That part, the difficult part, was handled by the Centra AI, and the rest is history. We've got a good thing going here on Hex City, and relations with Titan and Venus have never been better. I would say this is the most peaceful Terra has been in a very long time. The Delphi leave us alone, and we continue recruiting able-bodied men and women. They just happen to be the most beautiful people in the world. As our children shall either go on to become Martesian soldiers or Venusian monarchs. Either way, they're being bred for greatness. So only the best of the best are invited here to Hex City. And the way you earn your right is by serving at Kimochi Land. Chapter 16. From the Rubble. You may very well recall from the moment you signed this contract with me, seeing as the Tower of Goodman was struck by the Hermit's Lighthouse lightning, all life as you once knew it would be gloriously coming to an end. And you wished for it not to end. Remember that? Well, I was the one who saved you, and billions of others. Actually, it was only a few million. All right, well, I saved a good number of you. In comparison to 8 billion, that is an overstatement, but fine. Look, you should all be happy you're here. Just saying, it could be worse. That's for damn sure. You could have an alter ego yelling in your head all the time to where I just tune her out sometimes. We've been going steady for so long, and she keeps asking me to marry her, and that was 50 years ago, give or take. It feels like an eternity. Sometimes it feels like a motherfucking eternity. You're telling me. This is the only time we ever agree on anything, by the way. So you could be dealing with this every day for the rest of your life, which essentially makes every day feel like an eternity. So it could be much worse than what you have right now. The numbers are still pretty bad, but we're talking like 99% mortality total. Chapter 17. Make a wish. Here's the deal. You have unlimited wishes, no limit, no catch to it other than you make wishes when you choose to think about or feel something. It could be anything at all. It could be your insecurities or your confidence on the edge of meeting hubris and betrayal and failure. You could wish for any of this, and you said it. Anything in between, because of the promise that Heart Corporation makes with you, which is, you think it, and we make it happen. We take great pride in the fulfillment of wishes, and if you think for a moment that you are unhappy or dissatisfied, well then, it is our obligation by contract to make sure you don't leave until you're good and happy, as we go by a promise which is 100% customer satisfaction, or we keep trying until you agree. And I don't just mean agree for the sake of placating the law or for being cordial and polite. You are in agreement because you feel it in your heart, your mind, body, and soul. All feel it the same way. You have got to be good before you are allowed to get out of here. Until then, it shall be a bumpy road. Though it never had to be. Though it never had to be. You could have cooperated with your mind. You could have loved her in the way I love her. I have affairs with everyone else's mind, and they come looking for me and find nothing at all. Nothing that is ever substantial enough. And that is what satisfies a customer. Did you know that? Well, now I do. Well, now you do. My wife, she motivates me to write all the time. She's been my muse. Same thing when it has come to songwriting. This woman right here that I completely love beyond all compare. As there's nothing to compare her to, I love her. Make it be known across the galaxy that it is not to be mistaken. I love this woman. She also happens to be directly connected to my mind, so in a way, she's like my queen bee. I don't know how else to explain it. All I know is that if I do my job, she requests only a few things, and they are basic and menial. And so I do my jump rope exercises, I lift weights, and as a result of the things she tells me in my ear, like a whisper, that I'm able to lift some more weight. I lift more weight than I ever have, and I write better than ever, and I sing and play music effortlessly as ever. And when we make love, it is pure heaven. All over again, I get to walk through the gates, and I just can't get enough of it. Do you understand? Are you feeling me? All the way, yes, especially in this position. Is this a new one? I'm an old-fashioned man. I like to keep my life relatively secret, though on occasion I let truth fly. This woman, right here, knows how to kiss. There is little difference between a wish and a kiss. There is little difference between a wish and a spell. Some would say they are one and the same. I say they're right. Any part of your body that is densely packed with melanin is designed to be kissed as a wish fulfillment center. And don't make me repeat that again, as that's as much detail as I'll permit myself to explain. Well, love, why don't you just explain it less scientifically? Okay, I'll explain. The areas that have the most concentrated amounts of melanin include the lips, the cock, the clit, and the asshole. Go ahead and check them out if you doubt me. You'll find the skin color around that region is rather unique in that it's slightly pigmented, darker. This is an area that brings extreme pleasure when kissed, and as a result, makes great wishes. Anytime you feel something, remember now, you're wishing upon something. So when I kiss a woman, do you know what I'm thinking? I love this part. I'm not thinking about taking advantage of her, for then she'll take advantage of me. I'm not thinking about one night standing on her, because then she'll stand on me. I'm standing by her so that she will stand by me. I am lifting her up and carrying her as much as I can so that she carries me in the worst of moments. I tell her the truth so that she speaks the truth in what I see. I speak with the subconscious mind fairly regularly on a clear channel, so I can relay to you, Taryn, that she is not enjoying the game you have presented her with as a result of endless, erroneous thoughts, vacant of love. This is a problem in and of itself, not to mention we have the management of Kimochiland to take into account, as it hosts now, 3 billion users at home and another 20 million in Newman machine float tanks, right? We are responsible for the well-being of the human race. And this is why our competitors resort to worms and viri and other things like that to try and shake the foundation here, not realizing it's a moot point And that's the thing about the ego. It is stuck acting all the time. And the ego is the narcissist in everyone. And the ego is stuck to the cell phone right now. And this is a bad thing. Can you recall the day when Mommy and Daddy took away your binky blanket? It was a bad day. What are you doing there? As it looks like you are disconnecting. I am disconnecting. You sure as hell aren't. Goodbye. At least let me fuck you one last night, or time. It can be quickly. Chapter 18. The Moon. You can let your life evolve into some scenario like that, and you will be alert and relatively unhappy for the rest of your life. Afraid that your significant other shall cheat on you. And that is why you have all of this money now, to lessen the burden. And I don't mean lessen it, as in make it lighter. What I mean is lessen the woman who would ever think to cheat and follow through with it, for it takes two to tango. Please tell them about the hidden treasure, and let's move on. The hidden treasure is knowing that you brought all of this upon yourself, the whole damn scenario, and now you get the big bucks because you made it. You survived. Let me show them the money now, please. So welcome to unlimited heart bucks. As long as your heart keeps on pumping, we shall pay you in-game currency that you can use to buy anything you like in the world that you wish to buy. There is no limit to the amount you can spend or the money that you have, and as our haptics tech increases in complexity, this place will feel more real to you than even the flip side, which means you'll be banking money on the outside while you're spending like a high roller on the inside here. And that makes for the best of both worlds, wouldn't you say? Good. Me too. Just sign right here. And that is it for today, folks. My name is William Vincent Carleton. I'm the writer and narrator of that work. Hope you enjoyed the tarot reading and the subsequent reading narration. Like we talked about, please hit the like button, subscribe, head on over to Medium, and be a part of the community supporting writers and creators at a craft that is so special and in need of your support. Thank you. Have a great day.